welcome back to my channel. Our story for today is entitled The Turtle Who Waited for Spring. In a quiet pond at the edge of a big park lived an old turtle named Franklin. He spent his days sunning himself on the rocks or swimming in the warm water. It was a good life. Every year, Franklin would watch the children play in the park through the warm months. They'd run and jump and laugh, and he'd watch them from the safety of his home in the pond. But when winter came, he would burrow into the soft mud at the bottom and wait. One day in early spring, Franklin poked his head out of the water. The air was warm and smelled like sunshine. The birds were singing in the trees, and butterflies danced among the flowers. He wriggled out of his shell and onto the grass, blinking in the bright light. He took a few steps toward the pond, but then he stopped. Something was wrong. The swings were still. The slide was empty. The benches were covered in dust. And where were the children? Hadn't it just been summer? Franklin went back to his pond and waited. A week went by, then 2, then 3. One morning, he saw a little girl sitting alone by the water. Her name was Lily, and she used to feed him bread when she came to visit her grandmother, who lived across the street from the park. "Hello," said Franklin. He swam right to her, bumping his nose against the shore. Lily gasped, then laughed for the first time in months. She scrambled down the hill to the pond and reached out to stroke his shell. "Oh, Franklin," she cried, "I'm so glad you're back. I've missed you." She told him about how her family had been through some hard times, but she was happy to see that spring had come. Every year, Franklin had looked forward to spring. It was a time for new beginnings, for warm water and sunshine and juicy worms. But this year, it meant Lily. She began visiting every day, telling him about school and her friends and the funny things her little brother, Sam, had done. Sometimes she brought him pieces of bread to eat. Other times, she just sat quietly, resting her head against his shell. One day, Franklin noticed that Lily was crying. "What's wrong?" he asked her. "I wish my family was happy again," she said, wiping her eyes. "It's hard when your mom and dad are always fighting, and I'm worried about Sam. He hasn't smiled much since we moved here." Franklin understood. When the pond froze over in the winter, he felt lonely. If he couldn't swim around and see his friends, he just stayed in his little cave and slept until spring. But Lily didn't have a cave to hide in. "You need a friend, Lily," said Franklin. Just then, a little boy came running down the hill. "Sam, is that you?" called Lily. She waved. "Come on," she said. "Let's go say hi to Franklin." Sam trudged over to the pond, kicking a stone in front of him. He didn't look very happy. "Hi," said Franklin. "Want to give me a tour of all the new changes around here?" Sam thought for a moment. "Okay," he said finally, and started walking. As the weeks went by, Franklin saw the children playing in the park again. The swing sang and the slide rang with laughter, and sometimes he heard Lily and Sam's voices echoing in the trees. When winter came again, Franklin was glad he had a friend to watch over the quiet pond, for even though the children would leave in the cold weather, he knew they'd be back again soon, because spring would bring not only warmer days and sunny skies, but also the joy of knowing that some friendships survive the winter. And that's the story of the turtle who waited for spring. If you like this story and want more, I will really appreciate if you share, like, and subscribe. See you again next time.